If you want to kill it in SEO, even with Google's generative AI hitting the SERPs, then this is the video you need to watch. You're going to get an inner look at the content strategy we're building for Content at Scale to drive 500,000 unique visitors per month with a goal of doubling that by this fall. I'm also breaking down exactly what I think of Google's generative search, also called SGE, the search generative experience, and exactly how I think this will impact the content creator, aka you. If you have a website, if you make money online in any way, this is a video you will want to watch all the way through. There's a ton of hearsay around the search generative experience that Google is set to launch, with some news headlines claiming that this will completely wipe out creators and publishers. SEO is going to die forever, and we might as well stop publishing content now. But I have good news for you. I don't agree with that at all. After watching Google's I/O conference around 30 times, studying what other experts are saying on this topic right now, and breaking it down myself, this free masterclass right here on our YouTube channel will break down exactly what you need to know about Google's search generative experience, what they're going to actually be doing in terms of attribution and giving credit to creators. You're going to be able to get ahead with your content strategy and know how to pivot and what to focus on. And you're going to get an inside look at the content strategy that I'm spearheading here at Content at Scale. None of this is on hearsay. It's based on what Google actually said they're going to do, with previews of what they're going to do. So without further ado, let's jump right into it and start learning this together. I believe this is probably the single most important topic you could study as it relates to your SEO and your content marketing right now this year. So this isn't just any old conversation on what's coming in SERPs. This is the result of breaking down Google's I/O keynote 30 times, listening to experts talking about this, and honestly sinking in a lot of content and filtering it and studying it. I've also been doing content, SEO content specifically, for a decade, since 2011. I ran a writing agency where that's all we did, SEO content at volume. So again, this isn't just some rambling. This is actual insights that you want to pay attention to that will help you pivot and get ready for what's coming in SERPs. So Google's generative AI is coming. That's what's happening. And why this is such a big deal is because of Google itself. Google brings in over 80% of the world's online traffic. I think it's easy to assume that, well, Instagram is here, TikTok is here. No. Google is still the world's leader when it comes to online traffic, and 8 billion searches per day actually happen in Google itself. So Google is driving a ton of traffic. Here at Content at Scale, I'm building a content strategy that our team is executing on. They're doing an amazing job. And in April, we hit very close to 500,000 new users on our website. Actually 400,000 new users. In total, almost 500,000. So that's 500,000 users organically on our website per month. And we're set to double this by the fall, just a few months away from filming this video. So in the last 30 minutes, you can actually see on this screenshot, we got over 1,300 users. So pretty cool. Our source of traffic is Google. Our website, it's dominating in search results. We are achieving a ton of keyword rankings. This data comes from SEMrush. You can see over here on the right, top 3 rankings, over 250. In total, we have over 15,000 keywords indexed in Google. So traffic is through the roof on our own site. So we care about this at Content at Scale. We care about how AI is going to affect the SERPs. And when Google released that preview of their search generative experience at the I/O Developers Conference, well, we really wanted to pay attention. This is why. We get a ton of traffic from Google. So how will the AI-generated search results that Google showed, how will this impact and affect search traffic? I'm really excited to share this with you because I think there's a ton of hearsay. I think there's a ton of false, provocative clickbait headlines out there on this topic, and there's not a lot of actual, here's what's going to happen. So all these findings are coming straight from Google's I/O Developer Conference, the keynote specifically, where they had multiple experts get up on stage, including their CEO, and address the audience. But first, before we dive into that keynote and the Developers Conference and what is actually happening, let's go back in time. Let's go back to December of 2022 because I want to show you exactly how, I don't want to say tricky, but how careful of a planner that the company of Google actually is. I think a lot of people underrate the intelligence of Google as a whole and how they think and how they innovate. They are truly a leader in AI itself. So back in December of 2022, Google launched the extra E in EAT. What does EAT stand for, you might ask? It stands for these things: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. These are considerations that go into the page quality, the PQ rating of a website, specifically content. So these things equal whether a page appears to be accurate, honest, safe, and reliable or not. Is this page trustworthy? Can we show this page in search results and not harm our user? That's what Google wants. And trust, they say, is the most critical component of EAT because untrustworthy pages have a low EAT score, no matter how experienced, expert, or authoritative they may seem. So how does Google talk about trustworthiness? How does Google talk about experience? Think about this. I'm going to read what Google actually says and how they define this, and think about it when I read it, okay? Put your thinking cap on because this is important. There's going to be some very clear hints as to how Google is guiding their search when it comes to AI now and in the future. So Google is saying many types of pages are trustworthy and achieve their purpose well when created by people with a wealth of personal experience. For example, which would you trust? A product review from someone who has personally used the product or a review by someone who has not? Did you catch that? The pages that are trustworthy and achieve their purpose, hint, rank well in Google, are created by people with a wealth of personal experience. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, keep that in mind. It's going to be important coming up. So in Google Search Quality Rater Guidelines, it also states if the EAT of a page is low, people cannot or should not use the main content of this page. If it's highly inexpert when it comes to YMYL, well, it should be considered untrustworthy. YMYL touches your money or your life. This is financial, health, medical information on the internet, which Google is going to be very slow in rolling their AI out in medical, financial, legal industries. They've said that in the I/O conference. We're not going to roll that out quickly, so it may be a while before we even see AI touch those topics. So Google is looking at the reputation of the website and the content creator. This touches the reputation of you as a publisher outside of your website. What are other pages? What are other websites? What are other forums? What are guest blogs? What are they all saying about you? What does your author byline look like on those sites? Reputation is really important to build up. And I would say that this now matters more than it ever did. Because if you think about trustworthiness, what it comes down to, Google said, is that wealth of personal experience. Well, how are they reading that? How do they define that? Links. That's defined by links. How do you obtain those links? On high quality sources. It's not just any old backlink now. It is your reputation on the internet. Are you showing up on podcasts, on stages? Are you attributed in those places as an expert? That's a link, but again, not just any link. It reveals true personal experience. All right, so think about all this because it's coming. You're going to have a big aha moment just like I did. We're building up to that as it relates to AI and search. Okay, so stay with me here. So low quality pages lack an appropriate level of EAT, says Google, for the topic or the purpose of the page. So they're not meeting that criteria. And Google actually gives us examples. We don't have to guess. Google actually writes this out. So for example, a restaurant review that was written by somebody who never ate there. Sounds like AI to me. AI just writing content. AI doesn't have experience. Listen to this one, an example of skydiving written by someone that has no personal experience in this, no expertise. Or a website that's not authoritative and trustworthy for its topic. So wildly off-topic content will not rank. You've got to stay on topic for your website. And the example they gave was pretty drastic. Tax forms on a cooking website. So for content at scale, we're sticking to SEO, content marketing, agency growth. That's pretty broad, but, we're not over here talking about medical health. That would just be left field. So stay on topic. All this will matter, by the way, because I'll show you how AI is going to work and how this will be attributed in generative search. It's pretty crazy. The last thing they talk about was a shopping page. Google says a shopping page with minimal customer service information is not considered trustworthy. So what does that mean? You don't have testimonials on that page. You don't have a refund policy. You don't have information on how to get in touch with customer service. Those things matter to your page and your website. Doesn't really sound like anything revolutionary here, right? It's the fundamentals, which I've seen that in all 10 years of my career. It's the fundamentals that get missed. The navigation of our website. How does our website look? How does our brand look? Those are fundamentals. They're not sexy. They're not glamorous. And that's why people miss them. But now more important than ever, we got to get our fundamentals right. So listen how Google describes high EAT: expertise, authoritativeness, and trust, and the extra E for experience. What is high EAT? This is very trustworthy content. Google says this specifically. Social media posts and forum discussions are often high quality when they involve people sharing their experience. Interesting. So Google's actually referencing social media and forum discussions as being a part of high quality EAT. That's crazy. So what's happening, how you're talking about your experiences on social media could actually matter to the ranking of your website. Are you sharing your, I quote, firsthand experiences? That can make that social media post and that discussion, the forum discussion page, high quality. So talk more on social media about what you're doing. Reveal your expertise. Show people that you know your stuff. So what makes up the highest EAT? How can we just really kill it every time we publish content? This is what Google says. A website or content creator who is the uniquely authoritative go-to source for that topic has the highest EAT. Did you catch that? Uniquely authoritative go-to source for the topic. A content creator with a wealth of experience may be considered to have very high EAT for topics where experience is the primary factor in trust. Very high EAT websites and content creators are the most trusted sources on the internet for that topic. Boom. All right. This is really important because it's leading up to something. Julia, what are you talking about? Because this may not matter, right? This came up in a training I was doing on this topic. Well, this may not even matter if ChatGPT is just going to write the search results for me, right? That's a misleading thought. A ChatGPT-like search is actually not going to happen. It's not going to work that way. So let me show you how this is actually going to work. Generative AI in Google. Okay, so it's important to think about two things. First of all, the actual format of how this search generative experience will work, meaning what will it look like when we appear in the AI search results. But then secondly, I think it's also really important to consider the overall direction that Google wants to go in, because that's going to give you a little bit of their vision and their reasoning. And that's really important, I think, to give us peace of mind and to give us the ground we need to stand on when it comes to what content should we create. So this is what Google said. And I took a screenshot because this was so critical to the big picture. Google said, Google's representative, people will always value the input of other people. And what was important was what Google didn't say. Google didn't say people will always value the opinion of another robot. No, Google broke it down like this. People will always value the input of other people. And when they said this, the screenshots that came up were of content creators. They weren't AI generated. They were photographs taken by people that were at that location. Content said by content creators behind websites. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So here's what Google continues to say about their overall position with SGE, Search Generative Experience. That was previewed this May, launching soon. So they say, we know that people want to hear insights from others, right? People want to hear from people to help inform their decisions. So we've designed these new experiences to highlight and drive attention to content on the web. making it easy for people to dive deeper on the topic they're learning about. As we bring generative AI into search, we're committed to continue sending valuable traffic to sites across the web. Hallelujah. What? Did you just hear that? Google said it's our mission to drive traffic to your website. But what did we just cover? Keep in mind what we just covered. We covered that extra E in EAT. High trustworthy content reflects a lot of personal experience. That is what we got to do to earn what Google is talking about doing. Sending traffic to websites, to trustworthy content creators. We need to position ourselves. We need to claim that E. Our experience needs to shine. And I'll show you exactly how we're doing that in our content to earn what's coming. And what's coming is pretty cool. I don't believe it's detrimental to search. If anything, I think it'll weed out all the non-experts, get rid of a ton of crap that I have been disappointed to see for years, asking Google, when are you going to clean this up? These top results in Google look like trash. I still see that, and I'm in marketing. These keywords should be diluted completely by now. No, they're not. We still have old, ancient articles ranking for all these keywords. This huge shift, the biggest shift I've seen in SERPs for 10 years, I think will weed that out because of the emphasis that Google did when they very sneakily, very intelligently launched that extra E in December of 2022, knowing that AI would shift search forever. So what Google's talking about is an AI-powered snapshot, not AI replacing the website. They say that what they want to do is serve people a snapshot, an overview, and, I quote, a jumping off point that will allow people to explore a wide range of content and perspectives. And what did Google say earlier? We know that people value other people. And Google even says here, how SGE will work. It will allow people to dig deeper and discover a diverse range of content from publishers to creators to retailers to businesses and more. Again, it's very clear that they're not going to serve AI. AI is simply a snapshot and a jumping off point. Okay, so this is going to get really cool right now because I'm going to show you exactly what this will look like based on what Google showed us in the I/O Developers Conference. So keep in mind, at every point of what I'm about to share with you, keep in mind what we were talking about earlier. E for experience. Trustworthy content now matters more than ever. Why? Because of this. So the new search with generative AI built in is going to attribute the creator. And I would say the attribution is actually worth a lot of gold. And this could be a better placement than the featured snippet. It could be a better placement than the organic blue link, the non-sponsored spot. It really is a standout feature that we can now earn thanks to generative AI and thanks to the emphasis on experience, where we can really kind of be a David in a Goliath world where it used to be, the actual website, the weight of that website. Yes, that still matters. But with E for experience, the web's going to shift a little bit. And preference is going to be given to publishers and creators that are building true experience into their entire presence, not just website, their entire presence on the web. That's good news for you if you've been consistent on your website, building it up with content, staying on topic, and then positioning yourself as well on social media. And it doesn't have to be like a TikTok influencer. It just needs to be you in discussions and LinkedIn posts, sharing your thoughts that are relevant to your topic of expertise. And if you're not doing that, do that now. It's important. So these featured placements are clearly attributed in Google's preview to the actual source. You can see there's the name of the website and then the favicon representing that brand. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Google authorship in 2013 was incredible. It was an actual picture of the author in search results, like their little headshot and their name. And I got so much business from that. I got incredibly high-paying gigs because my face was in search. And people told me that's why they called me, that's why they filled out my form. This reminds me of that year. And I was really sad when that went away. We actually get a feature, almost like a brand placement in search results that didn't This didn't used to happen before. It was just a link. Right now it's almost like a showcase of our brand. So in all of the examples that Google listed, I continued to see this. I saw the attribution with these long tail keywords, which your strategy should be long tail keywords. That's going to get you specific buyers. So for example, if you're selling a black dress, don't just go after the keyword black dress. Go after the keyword of who you're targeting. So maybe it's a specific type of black dress for girls on prom night. So you would say little black prom dress for high schoolers or something like that. So in other words, you're getting more specific with your keyword, right? So if you think about that and you think about what Google portrayed in the I/O conference, they showed examples from long tail keywords. So again, they were true to the true SEO strategy of a long tail specific keyword. And then what they showed is that brands will be showing up in this generative AI for these specific keywords. And these brands are very niche. It's very clear, right? Like this is a website about how to take your pets on vacations, gopetfriendly.com. So this website is being served as an answer attached to the AI answer as a good resource to follow. And then the answer that generative AI writes, I would say is short enough to always necessitate going to that website. I know if I was doing this research, that generative AI paragraph wouldn't be enough. I would need to click on a resource. This is good news. This is like such good news, especially for those of us that are doing it right. They're not black hatting. Hopefully nobody is here. But if you're really building up a good website, this is good news for you. Such good news. Even in Google's Bard, I was surprised to see that if, for example, let's say Google just goes batcrap crazy and they're like, we're going to use Bard because we love our products and you're going to use Bard too. And they start forcing us to use Bard. Well, even then, when there was a long tail keyword like what are some must-see sites in New Orleans, even then Google showed in the I/O conference that they are featuring brands associated with the AI answer. And they want you to click on that brand. And again, it's a full title. It's a brand name. It's a favicon. It's a thumbnail of the website. It's a good feature that they're giving the creator. It's not just a little click here to learn more. It's a whole brand feature. So don't underestimate the power, I think, of what's coming here in search generative and the experience of AI in search and the snippets that we can now get. Don't look at what's missing, right? Look at what you can gain instead of what you're losing. So here's why I don't think Google's going to mess this up, because that's the other big question. Well, Julia, what if Google goes off the deep end and doesn't show us anything that you've shared? Here's why. Google has way too much money to lose, So their ad revenue last year was $200 billion. $162 billion of that came from ads. They wouldn't have ad competition if they didn't have publishers like you and me. We create the content on the internet. Organic traffic and organic content is what pushes the ad content forward. It increases cost per click. With more competition comes more ad revenue, and Google knows that. They can't afford to screw this up. So that said, if we know the attribution for the creator isn't going away, and if we know that the double E in EAT definitely not going away. In fact, I'd say this got more important than ever, ranking in Google and meeting that EAT standard. So experience was a number one ranking item. You could say like the number one ticket item that Google said, like, this is the ticket you have to carry. I have to have experience. And Google launched that in 2022. And I think looking at this big picture, which I have so many times, breaking it down, I think that was Google's way to predict and then filter all the AI generated garbage that was coming this year. Because, people think they can launch an entire website written by ChatGPT. They think that with a click of a button, they can get content written now and immediately rank in Google. Well, so I work at Content at Scale, and that's actually one of our marketing phrases. In a couple minutes, you can generate great content. And while it's true, you can, And I would say Content at Scale is the best tool to do that with. We still teach a craft framework where you're adding in your personal experience. And if you're talking about skydiving, like, go and get a picture. Go and skydive. Talk about it. It will add so much weight to your topic. So think about how you can do that. So experience is really how you stand out, I think, and earn that double E because of what Google is saying. They're looking at this as a ranking factor. Your reputation on the internet, what's being said about you on social media, all the other platforms. This weighs in. It's no longer a guessing game. Like, Google has said this now. So what does this come down to? No surprise here. Content and links. You're probably like, Julia, I have heard this before. Well, I'm sorry. You're going to hear it again. It's content and links. But specifically when it comes to content, it's quality content around your area of expertise. And if you're selling content as a service for clients, it's their area of expertise. They need to be writing on. This is your keyword research, your topic research. And then links. Are we quoted on high quality sources as an expert? What does our author byline look like on these guest blog publications? Is this happening in a way that represents us as a known expert? If not, get on more podcasts, get on more stages, get on more guest blogs. So this is critical for us to know because at Content at Scale, we went from around 160 indexed keywords in Google to over 15,000. In January, when I started, January of 2023, that's where we were at. The team just didn't have time to get to content publishing. And of course, what do? It's one of the first things I do. Now we have a whole strategy, a whole team around the execution of that content. So 15,000 keywords is what we went up to in just a few months. These organic keywords are distributed between the top 3 all the way down to 50 to 100. We're monitoring the ones that appear in the top 3, making that content better and better. So it's blowing up, and this is something we need to know. How do we future-proof ourselves? How do we double down on the type of content that will earn the snippets that I showed you earlier? Because that's what we're counting on. We are not stopping content creation because, oh no, generative AI is here and it's going to replace all the clicks. No. Hopefully I myth busted that enough by now so that you see that there's attribution coming and the content creator will actually get a lot of favor, a lot of business from this shift. Yes, I think there are a lot of sites that will lose, but it was the sites that had no experience represented. No expert authors. It was just a bunch of AI talking heads. You can't be that. You really do have to add that personal touch, a personal experience. But this is good news because if E for experience is now a huge ranking factor, there is some real estate that you can grab directly from some probably big players that might come crashing down. So what are we doing? Well, first, we are embracing the idea of creating content with AI. You have to start saving time and energy. With technology like these tools here, it would be stupid, in my opinion, to not use them and save considerable amounts of time, energy, cost, and money. And here's why we're not worried about this, using AI to develop our website content, because Google says we will reward high quality content however it's produced. They've said AI generated content fits into our approach to show helpful content to people. The main thing is you can't spam. You can't decrease your quality. So, well, what are we doing? The strategy that I'm deploying, I'm also doing this, by the way, in my other brands like Content Hacker. We are doubling down on top of funnel, that's tofu, top of funnel content. That's your awareness content. That's your long tail keywords. Why does blogging work? That might be a long tail keyword for us. That's top of funnel. That's a brand new user. A lot of companies, I can tell you from experience, from being present, listening to these companies, they're running the other way. They're actually cutting their tofu budget, their top of funnel budget. They're like, well, AI is going to write the answers, and I don't think I want to be a part of that. What we see is opportunity because of the attribution that's going to happen. I can't tell you how excited I am about this. That attribution in AI, in the generative search experience, and that attribution directly relating to experience. Goodbye, fake experts. Like, I have nothing else to say. That's awesome. That's what the internet has needed for a freaking decade. So what we're doing at Content at Scale is we're loading our top of funnel content with value, and you can copy this exact strategy. So again, long form content. If you've listened to me at all, I've preached long form content for years. So that's nothing new. Again, you're like, Julia, really? I've heard this before. Okay, well, you need to do it. So there you go. And with Content at Scale, it's a long form AI writer that does your SEO content in minutes. That baseline draft, and it's really good, undetectable, original content. So use AI, get these long form pieces written, and humanly optimize them. Never let them go without a human touch at the end. And then what we're doing is a lot of video content like this video to support the topic of our written content. And then another consideration that we have is interactive elements that are on that page. For example, how can we embed a lead magnet form? How can we capture people on this page? We're doing a free tool on one of our leading pages. So we built a tool that enables people to achieve a purpose for free related to our topic of experience. So let me show you exactly what this looks like. Here's a page that's ranking for almost 800 keywords. contentatscale.ai/AI-content-detector. It's ranking for some killer keywords. And here's what's in that page. So first, we have an under 10-minute YouTube video. It's me talking from my experience angle of content marketing, 100% related to the topic. Why do you need to use a content detector? Well, here's why. Here's why it matters. Here's my years of experience I come from, knowing why this matters. And then the written content is how to. I actually wrote this with our Content at Scale app because it's very, very good at top of funnel how-to content. And then you can see in the FAQ section. So we have a list of frequently asked questions. Those, again, were written by Content at Scale, and I humanly optimized them. I needed to do some editing because a lot of these weren't on par because the AI detector technology is new. So I did have to do some editing there, but I wouldn't have known which FAQs to add unless I did another hour of research. So it was really cool that I could use Content at Scale to generate that for me, and I could just edit it. So this in total is almost a 1,200 word landing page with a free tool at the top ranking for 800 keywords. And my goal is that when search generative experience launches in the SERPs, that we will claim a citation, an attribution for that keyword AI detector with this killer page, because we have satisfied EAT. We have shown, we are showcasing our experience, and we've built a lot of high quality links directly to this page. So you have known expertise present here on video in the written format. You have how-to content that informs the reader, and then you have FAQs addressing all of their questions. So how do you meet and satisfy Google's EAT requirements if we know that we can earn incredibly powerful attribution placements in this new AI search experience that's going to hit Google? So if we know we can earn some pretty powerful, almost like a brand feature placement, well, then how do we actually earn that? It's going to come down to EAT. So how do we do this? To recap, first of all, it's time to really be the expert. It's time to go get the podcast features, go get those links, go get the things that maybe you had some imposter syndrome about. Maybe you were like, well, I'm not there yet. Listen, you are. You're an expert. You know what you're talking about. It's time to step up and be one. Do not let imposter syndrome stop you, because this is actually a ranking factor right now. You need to be the expert. You also need to think omnichannel. How can I be talking about the topics I should be known for on more than one channel? How can I get consistent on social media? I'm doing one LinkedIn long form story per week. That's my goal. If it's a carousel, great. If it's a written story, great. Whatever I have time to get to. But I'm going to be talking about AI and content once a week on LinkedIn. That is a non-negotiable. So be true to the topics you want to be known for and really write out your thoughts. You can use ChatGPT to flesh those thoughts out too, right? You can use AI here. And then you need to create content. We're using Content at Scale to create quality content at scale on our website, 80 to 100 pieces per month. We're informing our reader. We're addressing all the questions that they have. This, by the way, helps build Google's new AI model. You'll be a part of that as it emerges. We are living in new times. So as you're a part of the content that builds their AI, you will get attributed. That's the beauty of it. It won't just get scraped and used. There will be attribution happening. That's why we should look at that as a good thing. And then lastly, absolutely use AI in your process of content creation around. If it's around AI, then how meta is that? Like us, we're using AI to talk about AI. Hey, you can cut a lot of time and cost, but just make sure that you're putting in your personal experience, your personal story before this goes out, because that, I would argue, got more important than ever. And then know your stuff in and out. Work hard. Continue to be on top of it. Spend time researching and learning. Don't be in 1,000 niches. Stick to your niche. It will matter more than ever, especially with AI in search. Favoring that niche creator. Google will see your expertise. That extra E for experience. The other E for expertise. Google will attribute the truly expert content creator and publisher. And I'm going to say something crazy, but don't worry too much about how they're going to attribute it. Just know it's going to happen. Like they have said too much to go back on. That show, they're going to favor the content creator. They're going to send your website clicks. So do not stop right now building double EAT content. In fact, I would say now is the time to double down on it because others are pausing in fear. And that's a wrap on the masterclass.